$50,000. You should be ashamed of yourself. Charging these young whippersnappers 50. When you came in the league in 1984, you wasn't getting 50,000 a game. You trying to make your money back.
Ridiculous. It's hilarious.
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And before I get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you enjoy the content so far on this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me as well. And so let's go ahead and get into it. Mr. Gilbert Arenas, Mr. two-time All-Star in his career. Mr. All Offense, No Defense in his career. Had the nerve to fix his lips to say anything about the legendary Hall of Famer Hakeem Olajuwon. And Gilbert Arenas is somebody that is known for trolling. And I won't say trolling, but he's known for his hot takes. He knows how to get people's attention.
I'm sorry, but nobody's doing that shit no more. All you old son bitches, stand down. Nobody want the Hakeem Olajuwon skyhook. Nobody want none of that shit, all right? Let it go. 50,000. You should be ashamed of yourself. Charging these young whippersnappers 50. When you came in the league in 1984, you wasn't getting 50,000 a game. You trying to make your money back through the youth. Giannis, no.
And so listening to that Gilbert Arenas take on Hakeem Olajuwon, it almost sounds as if Gilbert Arenas never even watched Hakeem Olajuwon play. If Hakeem Olajuwon would have had the front office of a San Antonio Spurs, the front office of a Los Angeles Lakers, or a Chicago Bulls, we would have been talking about Hakeem Olajuwon as probably the best player of all time. And it's not even close, because the only thing that Olajuwon was missing was rings. Outside of that, he had no weakness. The all-time leader in shot blocks, top 10 in steals, top 10 in field goal percentage, top 10 in points. We're talking about a player with no weakness, had a beautiful jump shot, could take you off the dribble, could shoot over his shoulder, left or right. The only thing that Hakeem Olajuwon was missing was a competent front office. Because had Hakeem Olajuwon got drafted to somebody like the San Antonio Spurs, they would have surrounded him with talent. They would have saw what they were dealing with, and they would have surrounded him with talent. It's very rare that you get a player that can dominate on both sides of the ball. Hakeem Olajuwon would give you 40, but he would also give you 4 blocks a night. I think he averaged close to 4 blocks for his career. Hakeem Olajuwon, in my opinion, is the ultimate unicorn. And if you think about it, it's a travesty what the Houston Rockets did to Hakeem Olajuwon.
He was the most unique athlete in terms of instinct. Imagine if you were 6'10" and your athleticism was Blake Griffin. That was Hakeem. He would kill this era only because Dre, he was actually the king of the mid-range shot too. So like his whole thing was, I'm gonna face you and like do inside pivots and do guard moves as a big. He would always get in the 3 shooting contest. And he'd make 5 out of 8 threes from each spot, like easily. I said, Dream, why don't you shoot threes? Because, he's like, why am I going to shoot threes? I only have to play 3 times a year. Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and Shaq. That's it. Everyone else I killed.
And so that was Kenny Smith chopping it up with Draymond Green, talking about his former teammate, Hakeem Olajuwon, who helped him win 2 back-to-back NBA championships. When Michael Jordan retired, everybody was doing the Birdman hand rub. Those rings were up for grab. And Olajuwon went out and snatched 2, not 1, but 2, and did something in the process that had never been done before. Hakeem Olajuwon is the only NBA player in modern NBA history to win an NBA championship without another All-Star in his team. In that first championship, he led the Houston Rockets to a championship without one single NBA All-Star on the team. And like I said, did something in the process that had never been done before. And that's something you'll probably never see again. And then on top of that, Hakeem Olajuwon played in the best era of big men. And he went through them all. He went through a Karl Malone and a John Stockton. He went through a David Robinson and them boys. He went through a Penny Hardaway and a Shaquille O'Neal and swept them by the way. He went through a Gary Payton and a Sean Kemp. He went through a Charles Barkley and Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson. He went through all of them. on his road to get his rings.
Hakeem Olajuwon is. He's one of the top 5 greatest centers in the history of basketball. That's number 1. Number 2, right up there with Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, all of that. Okay, he's right there. Olajuwon is right there. Okay, number 1. Number 2, he's trained LeBron James. He's trained Kobe Bryant. He's trained Carmelo Anthony. They all gave his training high marks. This is what Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, once had to say about Olajuwon's training advice. He said, when you're able to understand the small details, you're able to elevate it to another higher level.
And so if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, or any NBA player for that matter, why wouldn't you want to spend $50,000 to learn from the best? You got a lot of these celebrity basketball trainers that are charging $20,000 to try to learn the latest crossover that never laced it up in the NBA. And to be honest, $50,000 is cheap for these NBA players. They spend that in a night. And it's not like Hakeem Olajuwon needs the money. Hakeem Olajuwon is probably one of the few NBA players, one of the few veteran NBA players that invested his money wisely. He owns half of Houston. He owns property everywhere. I think his net worth is close to $300 million. And so Gilbert Arenas can learn a thing or two, both on and off the court. But you never know with Gilbert. Gilbert likes to troll a lot, or at least I think he likes to troll. He likes to have these outrageous hot takes that gets views and it definitely gets attention. And so you never know with Gilbert, because he's somebody that will say something. He'll say something outrageous, but then he'll actually justify and articulate his argument on top of it. So you never quite know with Gilbert. But anyways, that's going to be a wrap for this particular video. It wasn't going to be a very long video, but definitely wanted to chime in on this one. And make sure you guys chime in the comment section. And as usual, peace and chaos.